and the connection seems to be healthy. Good. So, welcome everybody to the April 2025 meetup. And today we have one topic by Max, who would like to present us some work he has been doing in some podcasts/videos regarding ADA content. So we will let Max talk a little bit about it. So Max, we like to.
Yes, hello everybody. Let me share my screen and check now. Chromium. I would like to share my experience with a new tool from Google that has a name Notebook MLM. It's a very interesting tool if you need to summarize some information in the internet or in your documents. Sorry for that my user interface in Ukrainian, but it's I will describe shortly what Google LM let you do. On the left, you can add a source of information. It could be any document like PDF or URL to some resource in the internet. It could be very complex to read maybe for you. And if you want to investigate this topic, you can add several such documents of the team of the thema, and then you can get summary from this document. It could be question and answer, or it could be short summary, but this summary could be in your native language. But some very interesting feature is to generate podcast for this topic. Podcast will be in English, and the podcast look like two people speak to each other and discuss the topic in details, and it's very nice sounded. I mean, the language, the speaker is very good and very convincing, like they understand the topic very well. I try to do this for ADA programmer practices from ADA Quality and Style book, and I like it so much that I shared it as series of podcasts. Initially, I tried to get a whole chapter in the one podcast, but it seems that in 20 minutes they speak about 1/3 of the topic. So I split it to 3 parts, and part 3 and part 2 is ready, but part 1 is not. Maybe you hear how it sounded. I will share the link. I tried to do podcast one with slides, and I created slide myself, and it took much time to me. It's about a whole day to create slides, to slice them into images, to get images into video editor, and then to adjust images with the sound. I think it does not make sense spend a lot of time, because probably this is a podcast and people could just listen, not watching. I don't know if it was to spend time. on this. I shared the link in the forum on ADA to gather feedback, but not much feedback right now. So I would like to, maybe if someone want discuss if it interesting for community, because sometimes people complain that to not enough material on YouTube about ADA, and people want to have some teaching materials. I don't know. As for me, the podcast is rather clear, but don't know, maybe for new users, new other users, it will be not just understandable. Anyway, I think it could attract attention to read the original other quality and style guide and get a better code. Don't know. What do you think?
Hi, Max. Thank you for your work. I didn't know that ML Playground could do this. I have a question. Are the videos, so the videos are in English, but you're working with Ukrainian now, or you're trying to translate them?
I can speak with Google AI with any language, and he will discuss the topic in that language I speak to it, but podcast always in English. After that, I try to get subtitles from the video text, and then with another DeepML translator translated to Ukrainian, and then with third model I get the sound in Ukrainian, but it lost intonation and live discussion, and more mechanical sound voice, and it's not sound so good as the Google version, because in Google version the people laugh sometimes and interrupt each other, and it's very interesting to listen, because it's like live discussion, and it keep your attention on a complex subject. It's good.
And another question from my side. I don't know much about AI and these topics, but you were saying that creating slides is a fairly time-consuming process. Have you considered maybe creating slides based on the content from the document that's been discussed, or like a summary, basically? I don't know if it can be done.
I don't know.
I must say.
Maybe I didn't try it. I used Markdown to create some document and translate it. Maybe if I ask machine model to do it for me. Anyway, it's hard to process whole video, because you need, besides creating the slide, you need manual work to slice this slides to get time span adjusted with sound, and not know if it works or not. Will be people look at it at all.
Okay. Are there any questions from the public?
If you don't have a question on this topic, I would like to say something more on
Please
another. and I would like to share my work about porting ADA to Yocto project. Yocto project is a tool that let you create Linux distributions, especially for embedded target for some handlet devices and small capability devices. It's a very long history project and has a lot of release, and it provides SDK for developing distribution, because besides Linux you can create some custom packages, and I've seen that people try to enable ADA in this scripts, because SDK doesn't have ADA right now, and if you want to develop some embedded software in ADA, you need to get compiler somehow. I look at a repository by Luke, who did this work at maybe 10 years ago, 9. And also, I know that Pavel Zhukov, who was maintainer in Fedora of ADA packages, also worked in this area. So I talked to him, and we joined our work to create maybe new version of the script and have some basic result. For instance, yesterday we built Intel version of the compiler, but it's truly cross compiler with just a few modifications of source base. And if you work in this area and interested in this topic, please contact, and I will discuss with you how to we do what we already have, and what next step we need to do to get full support of ADA in Yocto project. For now, we have a layer and short description how to make it work. One issue is that to create a cross compiler, you need the ADA compiler with exactly the same version of the cross. So mostly, probably you need to install Docker, because your native distributive doesn't, or you can use Alir to get needed version of the ADA. And if you have a question, please raise a hand.
So Luke wrote in the chat a couple of messages. He says, my Yocto layer did work for the version of Yocto I targeted, but that was a long time ago. Last I looked, Yocto had changed. It is like Gentoo. You needed a layer which sits above the base where the compiler is, so you can override the base compiler recipes. You don't need to use Docker. You can build directly on Linux. He quotes.
Yes, by Docker, I mean, if you need a matching compiler, it may be easier to you to install Fedora that provides the compiler of exactly that version, because otherwise you will try to compile cross-compiler not and get warning about wrong style or something like this, or unsupported pragma that are not presented in your version of the compiler, and so on. This is, yes, you can do without Docker, and I mean, this maybe simplifies the work.
I do want to say something about it. It is true that Gnat has one big major pain point. It's not bad, but it's not great either, and that's the matching of the versions. Yes, you normally need the matching version of a compiler version just to compile itself nicely, or the previous one. So that was a bit of an issue. I found it several times. One time, very recently, actually, I was trying Ada in RTMS, a real-time operating system that's mostly targeted for spacecrafts. And my system compiler is version 14, but it wanted to compile version 13, which is the previous version, and you cannot do that. So yes, that is a big issue. Though normally, for example, I've been able to compile GCC 10 with a system, a GCC's Gnat system version 6. So you can do large jumps from previous releases to newer ones, but not the other way around. So I don't know, maybe if you would like to, or potentially, you could make the recipe download, I'm just going to say Alir's Gnat version 11, so that it works with whatever newer compiler that you want to work with, or that Yocto may download. I don't know if that's a possibility, and that way it doesn't matter if it's building version 13, 12, 11, 14, it should be able to compile it. But that's just my comment, and this stems from my frustrations trying to get it to work. So I share them with you.
It would be nice if Luke joined this work, because I don't quite understand some concepts in Yocto, because it's a very complex build system. For instance, they relies on sysroot folders, and you have sysroot for native toolchain and sysroot for target. And when you build runtime, for instance, Ada runtime, it will put in target sysroot, but not does not understand any option like sysroot here. And if you try to compile NAT with NAT-make using this newly built cross compiler like Yocto do, to create target, to create NAT that work on target and provide generate code on target. This breaks the build, so we need some tricks. Right now, I don't need this compiler on the target. I need it only on the host, Ada compiler on the host. So I just disable Ada on target NAT, and it seems it creates the images. Anyway, if more people will involved, better probability that we get it working.
Then one last comment from my side. Thank you for this work, because I haven't used Yocto, but I have used Buildroot, which is a similar project, and they didn't have an out-of-the-box Ada compiler. So that was a bit of an issue. But as you mentioned, normally, for example, Buildroot doesn't even have a target recipe for GCC. So they don't allow you to compile a compiler for your target. They only allow you to create final binaries. So even if there is this limitation, for example, in Buildroot, they normally just deal with it, just accept it and move forward. So if you get target support for your Ada programs, that's a huge win in my opinion. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. I personally shared
You're
the
welcome.
excitement.
It's very interesting project, could be. Yeah. And if you don't mind, a short announcement on maybe news about previous months, I would like to remember that this month we had video from Adacore about new features in CNAT Pro, and I posted it on Telegram, but maybe people didn't get it. For instance, this video has a short update about new features in language that Adacore developing for new Ada standard and shared with community through a regular update in GCC. And one of this update was about new object-oriented programmer concepts, syntax rather than concepts that get wide discussion on the Telegram about if people like it or not. If you're interested, I will share a link and you can view what's new will be in Ada and in Anat toolchain. That's all.
Thank you. And this is a wonderful point that you make, because I wanted to also showcase some news about improvements on the Ganat side. But just before we leave you, yes, I am in the Telegram group, and people had some very strong opinions on the new syntax. So I would recommend, I think we should have a forum thread probably, just so that people have a more permanent and civilized discussion on what they think about it. But in case the viewers don't know, Adacore has a GitHub repository where you can where they write down the proposals for changes in the language, and it's open for discussion for everybody. So people make issues, they make pull requests, people comment on them, they say what they like, what they don't like. So if you like these new features, please comment on their Adacore's pull request. I will try to find the actual repo, and it will be in the minutes of the meeting. Comment on it if you like it, if you don't like it, if you think there are better alternatives, better syntax, etc. Sometimes the syntax that's proposed, or the changes that are proposed, even the creators acknowledge that they have some limitations, or there are some edge cases that could be problematic, and they want people to give them feedback on them. So it's a very open discussion. So feel free to join the discussion in trying to improve the language. And since we are talking about Adacore, just to let you know, the Ada User Society and the ARG, the Ada Repertoire Group, they also have an open discussion for improvements on the language in GitHub. I will try to search both repos and post them in the minutes. And if there are no more topics from your side, Max, I saw you close your stop sharing. Thank you very much for everything.
Yes, that's all that I have for this meetup.
Then thank you very much. Wonderful information from my side, at least. I really liked it. And it leads at the last topic. Let's me jump directly into something that I've been doing that I would like to show, and it should be public next week. I'm not. Okay, you should all be seeing my screen now. So in this month or next month, GCC 15 is going to be released. And if you go right now to the GCC 15 release series changes and new features, you will not find the Ada entry, because it still has not been pushed to their repos, to the GCC repo, but it should be pushed next week. So I can already tell you what has changed in the GCC GCC 15 release series, and it overlaps quite heavily with the video that Maxim just wanted to share with us. We have, let me actually zoom in so that you can see it a little bit better. We have a lot of new Ganat extensions and improvements, mainly the round and super attributes. We have mutably tag types. This basically makes the tag types have a maximum size. So in a way, they can. Tag types had some limitations regarding what features could be, where they could be placed, and etc. Mainly because their size was, quote, unknown. But with this new size class, we can define a maximum size that they can have. And if you instantiate a tag type with a higher size than that, the compiler will complain. So there is a way now to bound that size and make some potential improvements in the future regarding their usage. One wonderful and very interesting addition is the finalizable aspect. So as you may know, we have controlled types in Ada. They are very nice for some things, and they are not so very nice for other things. And one of their biggest limitations was that control types couldn't be used in Spark because their behavior was not well defined in many cases. Well, the finalizable aspect gives us basically the most common and most useful features of control types in a way that the finalizable objects, the finalizable records, have a very clear behavior. And they've been designed with the Spark in mind, with provability in mind. So I don't know if we will get Spark proofs this year for finalizable types. That way we can have lightweight control types also in Spark. But if it's not this year, maybe next. So at least the design of the finalizable types have been done with the Spark in mind, which is really nice. So basically, in order to make something lightweight control types, a finalizable type, you just have to add the aspect finalizable and define the initialize, adjust, and finalize procedures. And those procedures, they have to have these signatures. So basically, the name of the procedure that you want to put, and the object has to be in and out. That's it. Okay, so that's about it. Now we can have lightweight control types with the expectation of them being provable by Spark in the not so far future. We also had some new aspects like no race, external initialization, and exit cases. External initialization is very nice. It was shown just a few minutes ago, a couple of seconds by Max. This aspect allows us to read a file, an outside file from our file system, and read its data into our binary, into a variable that we declare in our program, and it gets built in. It gets compiled back as data into our final program. So that's very interesting. C and C++ have had this compiler preprocessor function for a while. We also had exit cases for those that of you who are doing a Spark and you would like to partition the different possible exit methods of a function. Like, for example, if with these conditions the function must always work with these kinds of input, okay, we may have an exception. And you can partition the different cases for your functions. There has been a slight change in the way that extensions, the primary extensions, is written or works. Now we have on, off, or all extensions, and the all extensions is like on with some extra features that are very experimental. Even though they are experimental features. That doesn't mean they should not work. And if you find bugs with them, please report them. But they should be good enough quality already. We have a lot more compiler flags. Actually, they were way too many for me to list. And if you are a compiler developer, there are a ton of new debug, a compiler self-debugging options. So yeah, great for you if you do GNAT development. Also, we have there is a major rework of the diagnosis from GNAT. So there are new formats, there are a lot more features, and this is just the beginning of it, I've been told by one of the compiler developers. They expect to have even more features coming in the future releases regarding diagnosis and the formats they support and the features they support. We now can have, we can now print addresses of data, access data with the image A procedure in X format. So if you prefer having your addresses access data being printed in X, now you can. I personally prefer when addresses are printed in X, so this is a nice addition. Also, as always, even more units of the compiler have seen improvements regarding their contracts, their designs, and their annotations, and they can now be proven even more. So that's great. There have been several improvements to previously an Android support. So if you work with those operating systems, please, if you find any issues, please report them, and especially the ARM64, also known as AArch64, has seen quite a few improvements in GNAT 15. There have been some priority rework in the Windows port of GCC. The documentation has been greatly expanded and improved with all these new features, and they have examples, etc. This is a very short summary and very short examples of the new features. If you would like to see longer ones or a better explanation of these new features, please go to the documentation. And there has been a removal of generic formal hash tables. So if you were using those, they were never part of the Ada standard. It was this library from GNAT. If you were using this, please go to the Spark library and use the Spark library instead. So that is one announcement I wanted to make. Once again, these changes that you are seeing right now in my screen have still not been pushed to master in GCC, but they should be this coming week. Also, as a reminder, the second Ada Developers Workshop that will be taking place in Paris, France, the 13th of June, still has the submissions open up until the 8th of April. So we still have a couple more days if you would like to present something in the workshop. We've already received quite a few proposals, for which I'm very happy. One point that is still not fully finalized about the workshop is the cost of the workshop. I have been informed that the cost of the workshop, like the default cost without any reductions, is noticeably higher than the Barcelona workshop, mainly because Paris is a fairly expensive place, and since the ticket or the entry to the workshop includes a meal, etc., the base cost was higher. So we are working towards finding a bigger reduction of the cost from sponsors. So discussions are still ongoing, but that's why we have not published the actual cost of the workshop, because we're still working on getting it reduced a little bit more. The cost is not huge, don't get me wrong, especially for what you get, like a full meal, but still we would like it to be as accessible to everybody as possible. So yeah, please make sure that if you would like to present something, you send an email as soon as possible with the requirements that we list here. Nonetheless, this is about the specific Ada developer workshop that Dirk, Fabian, and I have been preparing. But of course, the full workshop and the full conference will also take place at the same dates, and you can still, well, the sign-ups for the conference should go live this month, I believe by the end of the month, if I remember correctly. Also, I wrote this in the forum, but some of you may have missed. There will be no monthly meetup in May. I won't be available. I will be traveling. And we will also won't be having a meetup on June, as we will be having the Ada Developer Workshop, which will be live streamed. So it kind of serves as a large meetup event. Also, even if you cannot make it to the venue, even if you cannot go to Paris, but you would like to present something that you've been working on or that you're passionate about, there is the possibility to do a remote presentation. Just letting you know. Just make sure that you say it's going to be remote, so that we can consider the logistics of it. But yeah, we would like to also allow the wider community to participate, even if they cannot make it. Of course, nonetheless, in-person presentations will be highly preferred. And that's about it from my side. Not so many news, to be honest with you, but hey, important news, good news. And if there are any questions or any comments from the wider community that you would like to share, concerns, etc., I believe this is now the time. Yes, Max.
I would like to thank you for the work with gathering update information about GNAT new version GNU-CC. It's very tough work, and thank you that you are working on this, because other core usually don't provide any update information and only list of comments, and it's terrible. Thank you.
My pleasure. And I don't have to really do a lot of hard work, because GCC forces developers to list their changes. But I do have to go through the thousands of lines of change logs specific to GNAT just to pick out the important ones. That takes a few days, and it's not pleasant work at all. But it's not hard. It's just boring. So I see there are some new chats. Oh, thank you, AJ. And nonetheless, I will write a forum post once the changes have gone live and become official, so that the wider Ada community so I can bring the wider Ada community's attention to it. So, are there any comments, topics, points of discussions that someone would like to bring up? Then, if there are none, I think we can call it for today. Nonetheless, with all these work in progress things like the workshop, I will keep you informed in the forums, and also hopefully in the chats like Element and Telegram. But yeah, that's basically everything I had for today. I would like to say that hopefully in the future I would like to make a showcase of running Ada Core in RTMS. Also, good news! I didn't talk about it. It's just a small detail. There is a GCC proposal to get parallel support from Ada 2022. It's been proposed as a GSOC project, as a Google Summer of Code project. So we will see if it gets fully accepted, but it has a mentor and it has a student that should be working on it. So the bare minimum requirements are met. So if it gets accepted, maybe hopefully for GCC 16, we will have the parallel keyword support for Ada. So that's some good news. Then, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for participating. And I will see you in Paris for those of you who can come in person, and for those of you who join online. So thank you very much. Ciao.